And one of the things I will tell you about the book is that when I interviewed some of these twins, sometimes they were interviewed together, and sometimes they were interviewed separately. The interesting thing is, when you listen to these stories, you realize how they played off of each other, or how the stories, even when they were interviewed separately, how they were mirrors of each other, or how one of them said something and the other one might have been angry with them, but when you listen to the end of these stories, you saw the love. With all of them, you saw the love. You felt it, and it was there. So what makes your relationship unique or special?
We're always there for each other, and when I'm down, he's down as well. And when he's down, I'm down, and we are always there for each other. And
Lived apart, miles and miles apart. He's in Arkansas, and I've lived here for the last 25 years. Is that when we pick up the phone, it's like we're right next to each other again. We have this deep bond that transcends time and space.
Went all through school together. They couldn't separate us in classes if they tried, and we went through to college together.
How, or did you ever notice comparisons, especially from people in public or in school, where they say, oh, you are the such and such twin, or you're the whatever twin, and how did you kind of deal with that, or did you ever feel like you had to deal with it?
we were compared in so many different ways, like who's the faster one in sports, who's the better one at this, who's the smarter one. But we're all smarter in our own ways.
I didn't mind being like Walt and being compared to Walt, but I also wanted to be better than everybody else. Because I wanted the attention of my parents, especially my dad. And my dad wanted to give all the attention to his firstborn son.
When I speak about my childhood or my background, I often say we, and the people will sometimes give me a funny look if they don't know otherwise. And I'll say, oh, sorry, I'm a twin, so everything in my identity is we.
You still have that we and that bond.
Yeah.
And we are a we. We're all a we. That's part of the point. What can we do?
I don't know why I was recently talking to my husband about identity, and I told him that the top things that would come to mind if I had to describe myself were Christian, mom, wife, psychologist, and twin.
Then how do you maintain that individuality and not get kind of lost in that oh, the girls or the boys or the twins? How do you hold on to that?
Might come up that I'm a twin, and if it does, usually people are very, very excited to ask you a lot of questions about it. But it's not the first thing that I think comes to mind when I introduce myself or when people meet me, even though it's a huge, huge part of me. It's not really my, dominant identity.
At the same time I was carving out my independence, I wanted him to have his own, I didn't want him to depend on me, I wanted him to be his own whole person too, at the same time. And so he was a little more shy than I was definitely the dominant twin. And so I was always looking for opportunities to hook him up with other friends and get him involved in things so that he would have opportunities to have a fun life and an independent life for himself. So much of this we can mirror in our own relationships. We don't have to necessarily be twins, but we can learn so much from them about being individuals and still being connected.
Is around 4th grade. I mean, they're very different anyway. Obviously, I gave birth to the sun and the moon. But they're very different personality and everything, but they did everything together. They ate together. I kept them on a schedule because it was easier, you know. But around 4th grade, she'd be like, I don't like soccer. And he loved soccer. I don't want to do art, he would say. And she would just sit there and do art. So there were little things that were different in the beginning, like attention span.
My sister Sarah and I are so different in so many ways, but we complement each other. Like I've always been outspoken, and she's not. She's quiet, and she is like very thoughtful. And I have the tendency to be brash from time to time.
Twins, they may have very similar nervous systems, but they get pruned and they become different. There are still similarities, but it's the pruning process that goes on when you're young that changes the nervous system and creates much more individuality.
Remember, I lived in Chicago, she lived in New York, and it was totally amazing how I would get off the plane to greet her, and the two of us were wearing the same dresses, never even realizing that we had purchased the same thing.
It's hard being a twin. It's hard being compared to one another. It's hard going through life like that, and yet they continue to love each other. And for whatever reason, for however long it does, the rest, we all could respect each other and appreciate our differences and still stay connected forever, right?